Assembly Bill 418 would, if passed, ban Skittles in the state of California. Outrageous. Insulting. The liberals are at it again. Honestly, though, I'm kind of surprised. I would more expect, if any state was going to ban Skittles, I would expect it to be a state like Florida. Taste the rainbow? What are you, trying to groom kids? But actually not, it actually wouldn't ban Skittles. What the ban would actually do is ban 5 chemicals, one of which is found in Skittles. So technically it wouldn't ban Skittles, but we'll get into it. Let's talk about all the 5 chemicals that this bill would potentially ban. It's kind of interesting, I think. Red dye number 3. It's used in various products like hot tamales, strawberry Nesquik, Pez, double bubble twist gum, and sweethearts like the Valentine's Day treat. Yeah, it's used as a coloring agent, obviously. There have been some studies that have connected consumption of red dye number 3 to increased risk of cancer, I think in rats. Also, it's worth noting that in, I think, the year 1990, the FDA actually banned the use of red dye number 3 for cosmetics. So it's illegal to have red dye number 3 in cosmetics, but it is legal to have it in food. I mean, I guess it's not possible. I guess it's possible that it's safe to eat, but not to put on your skin. But it does seem counterintuitive to me. It's also like linked to adverse like neurological health in children, I think. Like it's increased, or it's connected. There was like a study that connected it with increased hyperactivity in kids. Potassium bromate. Potassium bromate's just weird. So like when you're baking bread, right? The gluten in the bread is what holds it together. And gluten-free breads, there's like other things, but in glutinous bread, the gluten holds it together. But in order for it to work, the gluten needs to like form bridges between other gluten molecules. And the only way it can do that is by oxidization, which requires that flour be aged, like exposed to the open air for like several weeks, in order for the flour to work, basically. But if you add potassium bromate to flour, you can age the flour much quicker. The problem is that potassium bromate probably causes cancer. By the way, all of these 5 chemicals are banned in the European Union, which is crazy. So it's like obviously there's some evidence for all of these. Yeah, the idea is that when flour is baked, the potassium bromate will break down into potassium bromide. Potassium bromide is harmless. The problem is that if the flour is incorrectly baked, like if it's not baked long enough or at a high enough temperature, that there could still be potassium bromate, the cancer-causing stuff, in the bread that you eat. I think California requires a warning label on all the flours that have potassium bromate in it. And it has for quite some time, I think, that it like can cause cancer. That must be a bummer to have to put that on your product, that it can cause cancer. Oh, yeah. Also, I think if you're like exposed to potassium bromate in the form of like inhalation, I think that is super bad for you also. So that's another reason to ban it, I guess. The next chemical is bromated vegetable oil. Bromated vegetable oil is used in, I think, mostly drinks to keep the ingredients from separating from each other. So there have been some studies that have shown adverse effects on the hearts of animals in large doses. So that's interesting. There's also a thinking that maybe potassium bromate can like accumulate in the body. So even if you're eating like safe doses, if you're eating it like frequently enough, maybe it could build up in the body and do damage. That's my understanding of it. Yeah, I was reading about this guy he presented to an emergency room. He was like memory loss and headaches, and I think confusion. I think he lost the ability to walk, and he was diagnosed with essentially bromate buildup. I don't know exactly what the term was, but essentially he had been drinking like 2 liters of soda every day, and the bromate that was in the soda just built up in his system, and he lost the ability to walk. So yeah, that might be a problem. It used to be in a lot of different drinks. I think over the years, more and more drinks have stopped using it, but there are still a few examples of drinks that still use it. The drink Sundrop still uses it. Also, a bunch of off-brand sodas use it, like Mountain Lightning, which is found at Walmart, Clover Valley at Dollar General, Orangeette, I don't even know what that is, and Stars and Stripes. That sounds like an off-brand to me. The next chemical we have is titanium dioxide, which is used as, I think, mostly a coloring agent. It's used in a lot of different products, from Skittles. This is the one that's found in Skittles, M&M's, Nerds, Trolley Gummies, and Kraft fat-free shredded cheese, among others. That's a non-exhaustive list. It's found in a ton of different products. It's used in ice creams, chocolates, candies, creamers, desserts, marshmallows, chewing gums, pastries, spreads, dressings, cakes, etc. Yeah, essentially there are studies that suggest that there may be a link between consuming titanium dioxide and your risk of developing cancer. And it was banned in the EU in 2021. Very, very interesting. I think Skittles was also Skittles was also sued in 2016, I think it was, by a man that claimed that their product was unsafe for human consumption because it contained titanium dioxide. But I don't think that went anywhere. But maybe this bill will. Propylparaben. It's used mostly in cosmetics, actually, but it is sometimes used in food as like a preservative. There are some links to adverse effects on the endocrine systems of rats and also the reproductive systems of rats. I was reading that it mimics like synthetic estrogen, and that it made like male rats have super low sperm count if they had consumed propylparaben. So that might be a concern. Yeah, all of this said, AB 418 still needs to pass in the committee. It was proposed, and then it needs to head to the full chamber for a vote, and it needs to pass that, and it then needs to be approved by the governor of California before becoming law. So all of that has to happen before this bill becomes law. And in addition, even if this bill becomes a law and these 5 chemicals are banned, food products that contain these 5 chemicals are most likely just going to change their recipes. I mean, that's pretty much what they do in the European Union, which already has banned these 5 chemicals. And to my knowledge, you still can get Skittles in the European Union, I think. If this bill takes effect and these companies are required to sell a different version of their product in California, they might find it easier just to sell that new version all throughout the United States. That's what a lot of companies do when California enacts legislation, is they just apply it to the whole United States because it's just cheaper. So there you go. California might be banning 5 chemicals that might be harmful. That's not as good as a headline as California is banning Skittles, though. So sorry. Yeah, so this next story happened in Springfield, Missouri. There was a woman a few years ago. She lost 3 of her toes when she was shot by her former husband, I guess in the foot. It's a very sad situation, but not sad anymore, as under the power of prayer and under the power of the prayer of her congregation, her toes regrew back over the course of 30 minutes, or so she claims on Facebook. Now, you might be wondering, are there any like videos or maybe photos that shows her toes growing back? No. But who needs evidence in these days and age when you can just believe whatever you want? You have the freedom to believe whatever you want. Yeah, so people that have been disillusioned with this claim have set up this website, showmethetoes.com, demanding proof of this woman's miracle. I haven't clicked on that link because I'm kind of scared of what's going to be on that website. Showmethetoes.com. I'm going to click on it. Show me the toes, looking for proof of the new toes miracle. Oh, yes. All right. Wow, the website's real. I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, you can probably peruse that if you want. I'm not going to. It sounds boring. I mean, I basically got the gist of it. She didn't actually grow her toes back because that's insane. Yeah, so this happened in Maine. There was this guy that ordered a vanity license plate or a custom license plate. And it was originally approved. I don't know what happened. If maybe I think there might have been complaints about his license plate, but I'm not exactly sure. You could see his license plate here, LUVTOFU. People complain that it says love to FU, but it actually says, according to the person that owns this license plate, it actually says love tofu, like the food, because he's a vegetarian, one of those two. He's a vegan, and you could see on his car that next to the license plate are some stickers that say vegan and tofu never screams. It seems pretty clear that he does actually love tofu, as far as I can tell. But the frankly evil government of Maine wants to take away this guy's license plate, just because they have dirty minds. Think about that. Yeah, the people are complaining are the ones that are filthy. You take a perfectly innocent statement and you apply your own twisted fantasies onto it. Disgusting. Although they did offer him another license plate that said vegan, but the E was a 3. But he rejected that one. He's just like, I'm just gonna go for a generic plate. Way to go, Maine. You gotta ruin everybody's fun. Yeah, so this story goes from creepy to sad. It's one of those weird stories. There's this Korean woman that I guess moved to the United States when she was a teenager and attended boarding school. Well, she grew up, moved on. She's 29 years old now. And she misses boarding school so much that she faked a birth certificate to enroll in a high school. And she enrolled in a high school and went to a high school for like a month. Yeah, this 29-year-old woman literally enrolled in a high school because she missed the types of relationships that she had while she was in school. That's honestly sad. The high school was the best time of your life? Jesus. Is that her over there? I think this is her. I feel bad for her. Don't even charge her with saying. Well, she did fake her birth certificate. She's clearly gone through enough if she willingly re-enrolls in high school. Oh, this is a true what's that movie? Shawshank Redemption type-esque escape that these two prison inmates underwent. They escaped from their prison, basically, using sharpened toothbrushes. Using sharpened toothbrushes and like a piece of metal, they were able to tunnel out of their jail cell. There's something about like the rebar. Like the rebar wasn't correctly installed in the jail cell, so they were able to get past it. Yeah. So really kind of an impressive escape, honestly, tunneling your way out with a toothbrush. You would think that these two people must be very competent. By the way, after they got out of their cell, they also had to scale a whole wall to escape the prison. So that's impressive also. They managed to get, after, what do they do with their newfound freedom, you might be wondering. They managed to get 7 miles before they stopped at an IHOP, where customers at the IHOP recognized them. I guess there was maybe like a alert put out or something. Yeah, but the patrons of the IHOP called the police and they were rearrested. It's kind of sad also. It is worth mentioning that there was a Waffle House just a few blocks away. I feel like IHOP could use this somehow. The number one preferred chain preferred by criminals. That idea is free, IHOP. That's so sad. That's so sad. You just want some. They wanted pancakes so bad that they just had to stop. But then they got arrested. What a bummer. Well, not really, because they were criminals. So I guess it's not that sad. Oh, this is a good story. This man named Andrew Moron, and this guy named Andrew Moron tried to steal a car, but he couldn't because the car was a stick shift, which he didn't know how to drive. To be fair, I don't know how to drive manual transmission either. But I'm not stealing cars, so I feel like it's okay. All I can say is that Bill Maher is rock hard right now. He's always like, the kids these days, they don't know how to drive the stick shifts and they don't know how to use rotary phones or whatever. How are they incompetent? This story is really weird because the guy, Andrew Moron, like went up to a woman and he said, if you don't give me your car, someone's going to kill me. And he had his like hand in his like jacket. So she thought that he had a gun. That's such a weird way to steal a car. This reminds me about how they say like Mac computers can't get viruses. But actually like just so few people use Mac computers that there just are less viruses for Mac. It's like the same for stick shifts. There's so few people that drive manual transmissions, maybe that it's theft proof, basically. Yeah. So this next story is weird. There was a principal that was teaching like an art class to like 4th graders, and teachers were upset because he was showing pornographic adult content in the form of Michelangelo's David. Don't you know that Michelangelo's David is naked? Obscene, pornographic. This is literally like a joke in The Simpsons. Like in The Simpsons, like there's literally a joke about how people are upset because of Michelangelo's David. They think it's like pornographic. Yeah, there were literally like 3 parents that complained about this. And of the 3 that complained, 2 weren't really that mad because they're like, the teachers are supposed to like send out materials 1 week in advance so that the parents can like decide whether to pull their child out of that class for that week or not. And the two teachers were just upset because the principal failed to notify the parents ahead of time. Only one parent was actually mad about the Michelangelo statue, from what I can tell. And literally, because of the 3 complaints from parents, this principal had to resign. That's insane. Who knew that 1500s Florence was more progressive than 2023 in Florida? In other Florida news, there was a heinous crime in Florida where the man, which you may have seen a second ago, but is gone now. There's a man that was charged with a crime after allegedly slapping a woman's face with a slice of pizza. Oh, here's his face. This man allegedly slapped a woman's face with pizza. Yeah, apparently that this man was arguing with a woman. I don't know if they're like husband and wife or what's going on, but apparently the woman had been in an argument with this man because the woman had physically disciplined another individual in the home, quote, on his bottom area. Is the other individual like a child? I think that would be the case. But you know what you don't do in response? You don't slap the person with a piece of pizza. Oh, and then this article is great. Pizza sauce was found on the front of the victim's shirt, her shirt collar, and the back of her shirt, deputies said. She also had remnants of pizza in her hair and around her ear. It's like a crime scene. The victim led deputies look inside the home where they found pizza sauce on the walls and ceiling of the kitchen area, the affidavit said. That's so stupid. This man is a serial sperm donor. He was being charged, I think, because he has just donated too many sperm in the Netherlands. Apparently, he has fathered 550 children. That is insane. This man has fathered 550 children. And apparently that's so significant that it increases authorities are worried about the increased risk of like 2 related people not realizing that they're related, like meeting later in life, and falling in love, and it being super gross. Oh no, it's not even the authorities. It's a sperm bank is suing this man just to get him to stop donating sperm. And it also accuses him of lying about the number of children he has fathered. Usually you can only donate sperm to father 25 children at a maximum in the Netherlands, or up to 12 women. This guy's fathered 550 children, which is significantly more, in my opinion. That's busy. That's all I can say. That's productive. So this woman lived in an apartment, and I guess she was annoyed with the tenants that lived above her. Apparently, the tenants that lived above her like exercised like early in the morning and ran the washing machine and yelled at their kids. All super annoying stuff. And this woman had like complained multiple times to to the landlord, right? And the landlord didn't do anything. So it's time to take matters into her own hands. Apparently, she went up to the apartment above her own. She broke in. She poured like flammable, some kind of flammable liquid all over the apartment, maybe like gasoline. And when she lit the apartment on fire, apparently there was a massive explosion and she died. She like hit the wall because of the explosion. And I think she died instantly. Yeah, so apparently gasoline can evaporate if it's like sitting for a long time. And the evaporated gasoline can still catch fire. So basically you have this invisible like gasoline, like gas. You have this invisible gas, which you like can just blow up basically if there's like a fire. And that's what happened to this woman. That is karma. They took her. That's not a lot of things that it took her to set off, because it was the washing machine, exercising early, and yelling at kids. Like, that's not like that much. I don't think that warrants setting their apartment on fire. Here's some good news from last week. The bill that would make school lunch free for all students passed in Minnesota. So Minnesota becomes the fourth state in the United States to offer free school lunch to all students, which is a good thing. There were people that were mad about this. Yeah, I think I read that 1 in 6 children. It was either 1 in 6 children or 1 in 6 people in Minnesota actually go hungry, despite what that one Republican lawmaker said, which I covered last week. Last week there was a story about a lawmaker in Minnesota that was like, I have never met a hungry person in Minnesota, which is absurd. It's weird that there are only 4 states that have free school lunch. There are quite a lot of students that go hungry, but for some reason don't meet the requirements for the free or reduced school lunch program. So this making school lunch free actually feeds a lot more children. And also, it's weird that children have to pay for food. They don't have to pay for other things. They don't have to pay for desks, even though there are children of wealthy families that could potentially like pay for a desk, right? Why aren't people mad at universal free desks, you know? I just find it so weird that people are like mad at this. People are literally mad at a bill that will make it so that less children are hungry. But I guess some people are just mean. Police divers discover body reported in a canal was a mannequin. It's the classic blunder of accidentally calling the police because you think you've found a body, but it was actually a mannequin. This time it happened in a canal. So it's totally different from all the other stories I do. Except maybe I have done one in a canal. It doesn't matter. Maybe I have done one in a canal before, and I just don't remember it. This one was in Ontario, though. I don't think I've done one that's happened in Ontario. Wow. What crazy times we live in, where there are so many mannequins that are discarded in canals, off the side of streets, what have you. Sharkgate. Scientists claim rare shark in photo is actually just a plastic toy. Sharkgate. That's what they're calling it. You know, not everything needs to have gate at the end of it. It's literally like for less and less serious things that they're using. They're just using the word gate for anything. Remember like Fartgate, where there was like a news broadcast and one of the reporters farted, and people were trying to figure out which one, and it was literally called Fartgate. That's not a controversy. That's not like a thing that warrants the suffix gate, in my opinion. But that's a tangent. Yeah. So there's this this shark that scientists thought had shown up in the Mediterranean. This type of shark that had never before appeared in the Mediterranean. The goblin shark. Yeah, so I guess there was a sighting. Someone claimed to have found a goblin shark, the body of a goblin shark wash up on shore. And that's a really big deal because goblin shark are not found in the Mediterranean. So someone finding a goblin shark in the Mediterranean would be a really big deal. There were scientific papers written about the implications of this finding. But it recently has come out that the sighting was in fact a toy. It was a toy shark. So that's kind of sad. It's probably good. It's probably good, right, that there's not an entirely different species like invading the Mediterranean. Yeah, I think the scientists behind the original paper describing the sighting have now retracted their paper. Now that's kind of sad. Yeah, like people have literally been doing research on this since last year. That actually seems very frustrating. This is like the mistaking a mannequin for a real body, but it's actually like that was your life's work for the past year. Now, longtime viewers of the channel know I like to end the weird news reports on a real exciting article, and this week is no different. I have a really exciting article to end this episode. Mystery creature from Florida man's security camera footage identified as frog. Okay, let's not judge. Let's just hear the story and decide. So yeah, there was a creature that showed up on a Florida man's home security camera that was like outside. Yeah, he received an alert early in the wee hours of the morning, and he checked his phone and he saw some mysterious thing that he couldn't explain. At first, he thought it was a human hand. And then he watched it again. He's like, what? I need to watch it again. Then he thought that it was an octopus, which does seem unlikely. I guess he looked at a different camera that offered a different perspective, and he realized, oh, that's just a frog. But let's watch the footage and see, because there is footage posted to Facebook where you can see here. Would you be fooled? Let's look. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what it is. I know it's a frog now. But if I just saw that on my camera, I'd be like, I don't know what that is. But I probably also wouldn't be too worried by it. Wait, isn't it like a rare type of frog that they found? Yeah, people were saying that it appears to be a Cuban tree frog, which is an invasive species that lives in Florida. This story has it all. It has a Florida man, it has invasive species, and it has mistaking something for something else, which all three of which I like to do stories on. Well, okay. I don't think this has been a total waste of time. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's pretty much it.